Hello everyone, I'm going to cover parallel lines today. So, all the important things you need to know about angles with parallel lines. Parallel lines are lines that will never meet. So you can see an example there on your screen. We have a set of railway tracks that going off into the distance. They look as though they meet by the trees in the background, but they actually don't. They remain a constant distance apart, the rails. And it's same with maths. You've got two lines that will continue forever and will never touch each other. So it's really important to know what parallel lines are. Perpendicular lines. These are lines that meet at 90 degrees. So there's an example of it in maths with a red square there. 90 degrees between those two lines that will meet. In the real world, you can have ceiling beams against the tiles in the ceiling, ceiling grids, gas pipes, electricity wires, all kinds of stuff. So it's just really important that you know that they will meet at 90 degrees. I don't know how clear that looks with my hands there, but that's the meaning of perpendicular. A line that cuts a set of parallel lines is called a bisector. It's important to know that. There are some special rules that govern the angles when a line bisects parallel lines. So the first rule is that alternate angles, or Z angles, are equal. And I've drawn them in here. We've got a 40-degree angle and a 40-degree angle. Those two angles are the same. Why are they alternate? Why do we call them Z angles? Well, if I get my highlighter pen, you should see there is a Z there. So it's really important to know that they are called alternate angles because there's a Z formed with the bisector. Okay, the next one is corresponding angles. Corresponding or F angles are equal. So here are two angles that are corresponding. We give this one a nice blue colour, and here is our F. Okay, so it's important to know that the angles between the spokes of the F will be the same. And the last rule is allied or co-interior C angles add up to 180 degrees. So let me show you why they're called allied or co-interior. You can generate a C here like this, and the angles on the inside, A plus B, they will make 180. Okay, example on the right, 60 plus 120 will give me 180. Okay, so it's really important to know those three rules. Something else that's useful to know and not to do with parallel lines is that vertically opposite angles are equal. So this angle that I've drawn here and put a dot in is going to be the same as this angle here. Okay, so if I do this on the right hand side, that means that this angle here is going to also be 70 degrees. Then we should know that angles on a straight line add up to 180. So this 70, or maybe I won't ruin that there, this 70 on the right, if I add this angle here in blue, it's gone horribly wrong, do apologise, let's try it again. This angle here will sum to give 180. So the answer there will be 110, because 180 minus 70 is 110. But then also, this angle here will be the same as this angle here. So that means that this side is also 110. That's worth knowing as well. You'll find that useful in some of these questions too. So I'm going to go through some examples using the rules, and you'll see how this works. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try and find x here. And there's a missing angle here that is crying out to be found. Let me draw it in with my highlighter. So there's a z angle. Do you remember what we called those? They were alternate angles, and the angles inside the z would be the same. That means this angle of 50 at the bottom would be the same as 50 at the top here. And then Rx will be 180, subtract 50, subtract 30, which is 100 degrees. So I hope that made sense there. You're making use of alternate angles and you are subtracting 80 degrees from 180 because angles on a straight line equal 180. What about y? Well, I'm going to move my working here for x. Oh, can I move it? Yes, I'll move it very slightly. Move it down here. That 50 can be rewritten at the top here. And instead of an arrow, I'm going to remove that and put x equals. I'll leave that up here. So can you see that along the top parallel line, if I change my colour to a nice blue and go along the top, angles on a straight line would add up to 180. So if I show you that there, that angle there would be 180 degrees, which means that this angle here, which we don't know, I'm going to call that question mark, we can work that out. Question mark would equal 180 minus 50 minus x, which we worked out to be 100 above, would be 30. Alright, so going back to my highlighter pen, I've got the top of a Z copied in, and here is the bottom of a Z. So you should see that this angle here is also going to be 30, because it's an alternate angle, backwards Z, they're both going to be the same, they're both going to be 30. And that will make y equal to 180 subtract 30. Y is 150 degrees. Okay. Really simple example, but you need to be able to spot the z's and then know which angles are equal to each other. Next slide. Give me a second. There we go. So this is a trapezium, an upside down one, and we have to find out what all the angles are, the missing ones, x, y and z. So the first one, x, is actually really straightforward. These are vertically opposite angles. So x straight away is 115. Nice and easy. Next, let's have a look at y. Well, can we see what we've got here? This is a C. So C angles are known as co-interior or allied, which means x plus y equals 180. Okay. So we know what x is, we know it's 115, which means that y will equal 180 minus 115, which is 65. So I'm going to fill that in on the picture. This is 65. This is 115. We've got one more to find, and that's Z. So this is testing the corresponding angles. Highlighter pen. I'll go for red this time, or purple. Here we have got an upside down F. And you should remember that corresponding angles are equal, which means this Z is 60 as well. Okay. Good. We'll move on to the last question that I've got prepared, which is similar, but also goes through pretty much every one of the rules. So, how are we going to go about getting this? Well, let's start with the x. I can see with this 110 right at the top that I have got a corresponding angle, and I'm going to draw that in here. Can you see you've got an F there? Okay, it's an upside down F, but it's still an F. And that means that this angle here is going to be 110. Okay, corresponding angles are equal. X, because it's on a straight line with that 110, x must be equal to 180 subtract 110, which is 70. I'm going to put that in there. Next one is y. How do we find y? Okay. These two lines are parallel, and those two lines are parallel. But I've not marked them in. I've been a bit naughty. I'm going to put the parallel markings in. Okay, that makes things a little bit more straightforward here. Yes. This is also going to be 70 because it corresponds with x. This will be 110 because it's allied with that 70 at the top. This angle here will be 110 because it's vertically opposite the angle here. This angle must be 70 because it is co-interior with the 110. I'll just show you that there. So that means that y also has to be 110. Why? Because 180 minus 70 is 110. Right, so lastly we're looking for Z. So I'm going to get a different colour. I'm going to draw in over the top here. And you see an upside down F there. That's a corresponding angle. So that means the 70 at the bottom spoke of the F is going to be equal to the 70 at the top spoke. I'll just change my colour of pen again. That has to be 70. So Z now becomes very easy to do. It will be 180 subtract 70 subtract 30. 70 add 30 is 100. 180 minus 100 gives me Z equals 80 degrees. Why? Angles in a triangle add up to 180 degrees. So these are the types of questions that you may come across with parallel and perpendicular lines. I'm going to put the notes in the description box below, and I will see you again on the next video. Many thanks. Hi everyone, this is a friendly reminder to like, subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to stay tuned for future videos on this channel. I also welcome constructive comments in the box below, and you can gain access to any of my teaching resources through the link above. If you'd like to support me through donation, you can either go to paypal.me/JonathanKipping or patreon.com/JonathanKipping. Stay tuned and look forward to future videos.